The Democratic presidential candidates descended on New Hampshire this weekend for the party's annual state convention. Senator Elizabeth Warren got a warm welcome from excited supporters in Manchester Saturday. Ahead of her speech, the Massachusetts senator and 2020 hopeful sat down with CBSN political reporter Caitlin Huey-Burns to discuss her momentum in the polls.
To what do you attribute your rise?
I think it's about what I fight for and how I fight. And then I ask people to be part of it. You know, we've got a real problem in this country, and that is that our democracy has been taken over by the wealthy and the well-connected. I'm running a campaign that gives people a chance to own their democracy and to make this government work for them. Think of it this way. There's so much that Americans agree on that we really want to see happen, and it just doesn't. We want to see some gun safety regulations, but it doesn't happen. We want to see the price of prescription drugs brought down, but it just doesn't happen. We want to see oil companies no longer calling the shots because we're worried about climate change, but it just doesn't happen. Why? Because of the influence of giant corporations and money in Washington. If there's a decision to be made in Washington, I guarantee it's been influenced by money. We got a chance in this campaign to change that.
Do you imagine yourself as a front runner? Did you ever think you would be here?
I think of this as I'm in it with more and more and more people. We're doing this together, side by side.
And just quickly, because you're heading to Houston next week for the debate, this is the first time you're going to be on stage with Joe Biden. You two are going to be at center stage. How are you preparing differently?
You know, not really differently. For me, it's one more chance to talk about what's broken in this country, my plans for fixing it, and how I'm building a grassroots movement to get it done. And do keep in mind, Houston has taken me back to my old stomping grounds. I am a proud graduate of the University of Houston from back in the day when it cost $50 a semester. And my first full-time teaching job was at the University of Houston, so I'm excited to go back.
A little bit of a homecoming.
Yeah.
We've also seen, just quickly, that as you've risen in polls, as we've talked to voters on the ground, a lot of them are starting to say, we like you, we like your policies. There are some questions that they may have about whether you can defeat Donald Trump. What do you say to that?
You know, I think we're going to do this together. Look, I know how to fight and I know how to win. I've been around this block before. When I ran for the Senate, I'd never run for public office before. And people said to me, woman can't win this seat. A very competent woman had just lost it. I started out down 17 points. I ended up beating that guy who was very popular by 7.5 points. You know, I make every day count and I stay in the fight for all the right reasons.